And joining us now, we've got Congressman Steven Palazzo. He represents Mississippi's 4th Congressional District. Morning, Congressman.
Hey, good morning, Gerard. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yes, sir. We led off the program today. We'll get started here, getting your thoughts on the Roe v. Wade decision. We just got through talking about that. It's less than an hour old, I think, at this point. Your thoughts?
I think there's a lot of people in America who are smiling today. I mean, we've been praying for this day for so long. Life is precious, and to be able to take this twisted power away from the federal government and return it to the states where it should have always been, it's a huge victory. It's a huge win. I appreciate everybody that's been a part of this and making this happen. And I always believe that nations are judged based on how they treat the most defenseless in their society, and the sanctity of life is just so important. So it's just a great day, and I appreciate the AG, and I appreciate her team too for being successful in bringing this suit against the Dobbs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks for that, Congressman. So we've got a runoff election coming up this Tuesday, one in your district, one in CD3, one in CD2. You will face Sheriff Mike Ezell of Jackson County in this runoff. You two advanced from the primary held earlier in June. What are your thoughts about the election coming up? How do you feel?
I feel really good. I mean, we've been knocking on doors. We've been traveling the district. I feel like the wind is in our sails. We're going to be debating tonight. I think it's extremely important to have a contrast between the two candidates. And, I think what's going to separate us the most is the experience that I have. How important it is not to send a freshman to Congress when we're going through all these big issues and fighting the Pelosi woke agenda, and being on the right committees. The Committee on Homeland Security for Appropriations, that's huge for South Mississippi, and we would lose all that if we sent a freshman up there to represent us. But it's just been a good couple weeks being able to be back in the district and working hard all across the 12 counties that I represent.
What are you hearing as the top issues from constituents in the 4th District, Congressman?
Inflation, gas. I mean, and when gas is a part of inflation, because, as energy is a number one driver of inflation. If the energy costs go up, everything goes up. Your medicines, your manufactured goods. And so you're not just feeling the pinch at the pump, but you're feeling it everywhere. And the second, I would say is it might be a tie, is the border. I mean, people, even though the media is not talking about it anymore, we still have an invasion at our southern border taking place as we speak, where millions of people have already come through our country. The CBP agents are having to babysit instead of patrol the border, giving the cartel pretty much effective control over all the areas but the points of entry. So drugs are flowing in, human trafficking is taking place. Those people, we've captured people on the known terror list. So you can only imagine what we're not catching at the border because this administration has turned a blind eye to it.
So you mentioned that maintaining the seniority that you have as a sitting member of Congress already, and the expectation of the House, I should say, and the expectation is that Republicans will take control of the House, in which case Republicans would be in leadership positions, in particular would have committee chair positions with a new Speaker of the House. In what other ways, Stephen, do you differentiate yourself from your opponent, Mr. Ezell?
Yeah, I think some points are when we do take the majority, we're gonna have an opportunity to lead committees, and the committee I'm gonna have an opportunity to lead that I'm in line to lead is Homeland Security, which has jurisdiction over the funding the border wall, over FEMA, over the Coast Guard, and so when you look at the committees, and if we lose that committee, we won't have that committee in the House for a very long time, if not forever. we may lose that committee. And it's important, but also the relationships that you build over 12 years. And then the next speaker and I are good friends, and that means something. He appointed me to the Board of Visitors for the Naval Academy. I'm one of 3 members of Congress appointed to be on the Board of Visitors for Naval Academy, and that's important for our young men and women here that are trying to get into one of our academies. He appointed me to the American Security Task Force. Why did he do that? Because I'm confident and I'm capable. And under that task force, we are looking at ways to obviously secure our southern border, protect ourselves against cybersecurity, and also how do we help our law enforcement officers after they've been, basically under constant assault by the progressive left and to defund the police movement. So these are things that that the new guy, the new guy's the new guy. They won't even know his name, and but ultimately this isn't for me. I mean, I did all this for South Mississippi because I told them I'd fight for them, I told them I'd protect them, and I told them I'd deliver for them. And I wasn't just going to be a backbencher, but that I was going to try to do everything I can to be in a position to help South Mississippi.
Are there any particular policy positions that you'd like to highlight that, again, are distinctions between your view and your stance versus the sheriff's?
Well, I mean, that's the crazy thing, Gerard. When you have 2 Republicans running against each other, there's typically the same policies, right? I'm for low taxes. I'm for less regulations. I'm for strong border. I'm for strong military. I protect our veterans. The difference is I've done all that. I've got the proven conservative voting record on anything that he could possibly say, which most of his campaign looks like a copy and paste from my website, is that I've already done those things. I'm the proven conservative that has the voting record of delivering for South Mississippi, whether it was flood insurance, whether it was lower taxes, less regulations, drilling offshore. I got $1.6 billion through our committee when we negotiated that in 2019 for the wall. I voted to be able to give the VA the ability to fire bad actors because they weren't caring for our veterans. It's just, and the list goes on and on and on.
Anything else you'd like to say, Congressman, to the voters in the 4th District when as we lead up to this runoff?
Well, I mean, just the news today it's a great day for life. It's a great day for Mississippi. And again, for the voters in South Mississippi, listen, it's been an honor and a privilege serving you and your families. I've never taken it lightly. I've shown up, I've worked hard, and I've delivered where it matters. And I want to continue working for you and your families. And just God bless you. I appreciate your prayers and your support on Tuesday, June 28th.
We got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything that's kind of you have prioritized as issues you'd like to address after the midterms? Let's say that you are victorious Tuesday, you return to Congress, winning in the general. Are there things that you and your Republican colleagues would like to focus on once you have control of the House?
Yeah, the number thing is just trying to bring us back to sanity and get back to not normal, but get back to where we were 2 years ago when gas was under $2 a gallon, where we were building the wall. We rebuilt our military. We were energy independent. Those are all things that we deliver as Republicans when Republicans are in control. And I think Democrats and independents are realizing that the Biden-Pelosi agenda is disastrous for the American people. Now, personally, I still want to build the wall, and I'm going to introduce my Border Bonds Act of 2022. I've introduced it last Congress, and that's basically it's similar to, and we may have had this conversation, it's very much similar to war bonds that we sold in World War II, and without selling those war bonds, we would have never been able to finance the war to tackle the Japanese and the Germans in World War II. I mean, it could have been a totally different outcome. But the American people stepped up and they bought war bonds. And I think, and I introduced this under Trump, was if the Democrats don't want to fund the wall. Let the American people do it. Now, I think we would be able to build a wall 3 times the size.
Well, we got to go. We appreciate you joining us today, and good luck in the election this Tuesday, Representative Steven Palazzo.
Hey, thank you. God bless. Have a great day.